Hello, welcome to my office. It's 50% tidy, 50% messy today. I'm hopping on here because I want to talk about the news. I want to talk about the fact that I do not shy away from watching the news. I feel that it's part of my, personally for me, my work to face into that. My spirituality is not about shying away from the world. It's actually about creating the kind of resilience in my system from feeling held enough and working deeply enough on my relationship with myself to be able to bring the gift of awareness and connection to the news. So, Robert always says, make the news headlines into your prayer list. And I really love that. And that's what I do. But what I want to talk about is, now that everything in the world, and it will continue to do so, it's ramping up, it's becoming more visible because so much is now accessible beyond what the news are feeding us. We are seeing everything. And it's really important not only that we make the news into a prayer list, but that before we watch the news, before we listen to anything, before we expose ourselves to the truth of what's going on in whatever area of the world that is, it's really important that we decide how we're going to do that and who is with us when we do it. Going in to watch the news and take in the events from around the world, especially when large numbers of people are in an enormous amount of trauma and indescribable suffering, we need to stay on track while taking in what is appropriate for us to take in. We need to stay on track and in our centers in order to be miracle workers. So it's really important that before you engage with the news, before you read anything, before you see anything, you do a moment of your practice. That might be reading the daily lesson. It might be putting your hand on the book. It might be checking in on the Facebook page in our community. It might be a very pure prayer. It might be going for a quick walk and putting your hand on a tree outside. Whatever it is that centers you and has you remember very fully and very consciously that God goes with you wherever you go, that the presence of love is with you whatever you experience. Do you see what I mean? Really making sure that we're coming from the place we want to really come from before we witness. Because actually what's really important about that is not just that we end up more supported and strengthened, but that we are being a conduit for the suffering of others to be witnessed by the most profound truth that we can't really hold on to as humans a lot of the time. We need help with that. We need a presence that is around us and with us and consciously brought into that situation to see through our eyes. Because when that presence sees through our eyes, that's when it brings possibility. That's when healing can come. If we get stuck just using our body's eyes, we will be taken out very fast. We will get burnt out very fast. And really, honestly, we won't be much help to anybody. And real activism can only come from a place of the deeper center. And I had an email the other day from an Everyday Miracles member asking a really brilliant question. She said, I love today's lesson. And today's lesson is a happy outcome to all things is sure or guaranteed. I can't remember the exact words. It's one of the lessons in the workbook. And she said, I'm very confused about how to apply this to these enormous world events that are going on right now and the level of suffering that we're seeing and witnessing. Now, the truth is that A Course in Miracles teaches us that is the ultimate truth, but it's not a message of positivity and overriding. It's a message of the ultimate truth beyond form, is that a happy ending to all things is absolutely sure. It's guaranteed. And actually, the Course teaches us that it's already a done deal. The healing has already happened. The wholeness is not threatened. And when people are suffering, and when we're holding on to this awareness, our work is to hold the human and the divine at the same time. On the human level, as a human being, I grieve with those who are suffering. Truly, I do. I mean, I have really had to work hard at this, especially in the last couple of weeks. I grieve with those who are suffering. In the other hand, with the divine, that awareness, I also look beyond the form of the suffering, and I see who you are and who I am, therefore. And then I deepen who I see you as. This is that giving and receiving cycle. I deepen my awareness and I anchor into who you truly are, so that my witnessing is made of both. And this is what the prayer hands are. The prayer hands, as I see it, is that the human and the divine meet in the middle, and they center here on our hearts. And we see from that place, from that integrated inner marriage, human and divine, yes, a happy outcome is guaranteed because of the ultimate truth. And on the human level, this is what's going on. And can I be the presence of love? Can I ask that question? How can I be the presence of love here? What is mine to do? How am I called to help? There might be a physical action. There might be a donation you can make. There might be somebody you can reach out to who's affected, who needs to just be heard, who needs space to share their experience. It might be that you're called to pray very deeply. It might be called that that you're called to create a prayer group, meditation group, to hold this space of love. There are so many ways to engage, but we can't hear when we're totally taken out. So it's really important that in order to really witness things through these eyes, we must do our practice. We must remember who walks with us, who sits with us, who has their hand at our back while we are finding our way with taking in the news from the outside. So I really want to encourage you to prioritize your self-care, because it keeps you intact to do what you're meant to do, to be asking, to be guided, to be praying, to be staying in your deeper center. And it's a really rough time. It's a really, really rough time. And we need to look after ourselves, because those of us who are consciously anchoring this love, we are required, we are needed during these times to anchor a still point. And so we have to look after ourselves. That's the link between sort of self-love and self-care and all of that, and our generosity, our ability to act, our ability to take our place in things as they unfold. So I hope this is helpful. As always, we are sort of adding, extra double layers of love to everything we're doing, in the awareness that we are all holding a lot right now. And we're so glad you're with us too, and that we are in community during these times. It really matters. So I'm sending you lots of love from my office, and we'll see you very soon.